In the heart of Edinburgh sits Greyfriars Kirkyard, a graveyard famous for history, poets and loyalty. But from the late 1990s onward, it became known for something else. A cluster of reports so physical, so unsettling, that even skeptics stopped calling them just stories. This became known as the Mackenzie Poltergeist. The reports centre on the Black Mausoleum, the burial place of Sir George Mackenzie, a 17th century Lord Advocate remembered by history and folklore as Bloody Mackenzie. Mackenzie played a key role in the persecution of the Covenanters, many of whom were imprisoned in harsh conditions in the area now called the Covenanters' Prison, directly beside the mausoleum. That history is not disputed. What followed centuries later is. The modern wave of reports is commonly traced to 1998 to 1999. According to multiple contemporary accounts, a homeless man broke into the Black Mausoleum, seeking shelter. During the break-in, the floor is said to have collapsed, dropping him into a concealed pit containing human remains, often described as a former plague pit. This collapse did happen, but details about exactly what was disturbed and how vary by source and cannot be independently reconstructed with precision. What is clear is that after this period, reports increased sharply, and they weren't the kind of experiences people usually dismiss with a shiver and a laugh. Between the late 1990s and mid-2000s, visitors and guides began reporting physical injuries, scratches appearing on skin, unexplained bruises, bite-like marks, sensations of being grabbed or pushed, and in rarer claims, finger injuries and burns. More than 100 reports of people collapsing or losing consciousness in the immediate area were logged by tour operators and investigators over several years. These numbers are drawn from compiled witness reports, not hospital records, a distinction that matters. But the volume itself is unusual. These people weren't arriving primed for a scare. Many reports came from casual tourists, some sceptical, some unaware of the site's reputation, who described sudden nausea, dizziness, panic, or the overwhelming feeling that they needed to leave immediately. Fear, once triggered, can be contagious, but fear alone doesn't explain everything people described. As incidents mounted, parts of the kirkyard were restricted, and access to the Black Mausoleum became limited to organised tours. Around this time, paranormal researcher Jan Andrew Henderson documented dozens of cases and popularised the term Mackenzie Poltergeist. Henderson later claimed the activity followed him home and caused a fire that destroyed his research materials. That claim cannot be independently verified and remains part of the legend rather than established fact. Another widely repeated story involves an attempted exorcism. In 2000, a local exorcist named Colin Grant reportedly tried to cleanse the site, later describing the presence as evil. Grant died of a heart attack not long afterward. There is no medical evidence linking his death to the attempt, but the timing cemented the story in public memory. Skeptics have proposed alternative explanations. One is the so-called polterbramble hypothesis, that scratches and marks come from overgrown, thorny bushes in low light combined with adrenaline and heightened suggestion. Others point to mass psychogenic response, where expectation and atmosphere shape how people interpret normal sensations. These explanations are plausible, but they don't fully account for the consistency, concentration and duration of reports over many years. So what is the Mackenzie Poltergeist? A violent haunting born from brutal history? A psychological feedback loop fed by place, darkness and expectation? Or something that still resists a clean explanation? There is no evidence strong enough to confirm these experiences, and no explanation complete enough to put them to rest. Greyfriars Kirkyard isn't just a haunted site. It's a place where history, memory, belief and fear overlap, and where people continue to report encounters that feel deeply personal, deeply physical, and impossible to forget. And perhaps that's why the story endures. Not because it proves anything, but because it refuses to fade. If a place carries centuries of suffering, can it ever truly be silent?